All right, we're taking a pile of components and I guess we're just kind of reconfiguring. Well, it's still a pile of components, but it's... All right, nerds, we're making a keyboard. This is the Nullbits Snap set. So it comes as a printed circuit board, and it comes with a few basic components. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you still need to get for it. The microcontrollers need to get switches, keycaps, a whole bunch of other stuff. But it comes with a basic set, so it's highly customizable. But all the components are individual, and you have to solder them on yourself. So this is a good intro for a pretty customizable keyboard. Let's get started. We're going to start off with the LEDs. These have a little marker. It almost looks like a little triangle on a corner. Line that up with the PCB. There's a marker on the board to indicate which direction these go. These are unidirectional, so make sure that you have them facing the correct direction. These are WS2812B LEDs, but whenever soldering any type of four-corner LED, I really like to tin one of the solder pads and then put the LED on top, tack it down in place, and then solder the rest of the pads, and this really helps keep the LED flat, and you get a really good contact this way. We'll move on to some resistors, and after the resistors, we're going to want to do the reset switch. Then we want to solder in the integrated circuit socket, or the IC socket. It doesn't really matter which way you put these in. There is a notch, but I would suggest putting them in the correct way because it just makes putting the integrated circuit in the correct direction later on much easier. We'll toss in some capacitors, and then the diodes come in. We'll want to solder in these diodes, and you're going to want to make sure that these are facing the correct direction. You can use a multimeter to double check to make sure that the diodes are good. I would suggest doing this. You don't have to do it for all of them, but I like doing it for all of them because I've been burned by this too many times. Take your multimeter, put it on the continuity setting. This sometimes looks like a diode in a wiring diagram, and just run down the line. It's pretty quick, and it's worth the effort now to save a lot of headache later on when you're trying to diag something. So we continue on, and there's a whole bunch of diodes that we need to solder in for all the keycaps that are, or not keycaps, but for all the switches that are going to be connected to this board. So each one corresponds to a diode. I was going to try and get cute with this and solder the diodes in on the other direction and save the space on the top of the keyboard in order to be able to do custom 3D prints and be able to swap out these little scenes or whatever. But it turns out that the acrylic spacer on the bottom doesn't actually allow for this configuration. So in my next video, I'll be showing you how to desolder components.